Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Laon, a certified life coach and addiction recovery coach. Thank you for being here. Today we are going to talk about hot and cold behavior and listen to a Neville Goddard lecture about inner conversations and how that can actually predict what you are going to experience with your person and with other people in your life. So please hit that thumbs up button so then other people can see manifestation videos and manifest the life of their dreams, and subscribe so then you can learn the proper way to manifest and start living and being the best version of you. I do offer one-on-one coaching and group coaching, so if you would like to check that out, it is soulutionscoaching.org. It is in the drop box below, so please check that out so then we can work together. I'd love to work with you and help you manifest the life of your dreams. So in this video, we are going to explain the hot and cold behavior. Now what this is when you are manifesting, we're going to say as an example, but this works for everyone in your reality. But the example is going to be manifesting a romantic partner, a specific person. And that is when they are showing up one way, your desired version. They're showing up really hot and heavy in your reality to where they're committed to you, they love you, they're reflecting back your affirmations and your imaginal acts. Then all of a sudden they ghost you and want nothing to do with you, and you get in a big fight and they're back to their old ways, the old version of what you've always experienced in relationships or with this person. And the way that we break this habit, for one, is using revising the past breakups, the past ways that we were treated in other relationships, revising our childhood to where we are healing the wounds of abandonment and rejection and unworthiness. That is a very, very important thing to do, so then you can help eliminate, completely kill off the old man, the old story that we keep remanifesting. So that is one reason why we get hot and cold behavior. Now, again, if we go without revising any of this, then we are going to continue to go back and forth between this new story and this old story of what we are trying to manifest and get away from. So we want to take a step back. We want to observe our thoughts. What story is that keeps repeating? Are you always cheated on in a relationship? Are you always disrespected? Are you always ghosted? Are you always going no contact? Are they always blocking you? Take a look at that. Listen to that inner voice in your head, that ego. What is it telling you? Oh, we've experienced this before, or this is too good to be true, or yeah, they've gone a few days of being really good and then they always end up ghosting, or we always end up getting in a fight, same story, this isn't going to be any different, let's wait for the other shoe to drop. That is all the old story, that ego reminding you of your past patterns. And again, if we go without revising these things and we haven't touched on them, it's going to keep repeating in a cycle. You're not really going to break out of the old story, the current circumstances. It's going to keep you stuck in getting this new version and then staying in this old and going back and forth. So that comes up to mind with double-mindedness and doubt. All of these things go hand in hand. Because you are manifesting and doing your visualizations and imaginal acts and whatever technique you decide to use to get you into the state of the wish fulfilled, yes, you are seeing a little bit of movement or evidence where that is working, but you are being double-minded because this old story, this old programming, this old tape that is subconsciously playing is also going to get pushed out. You're still in this old state because these patterns haven't been healed. They haven't been revised. So you are going back and forth between the two and being double-mindedness. 1 minute you are in your visualization focusing on what you do want, and then you get out of it, and throughout the day you're listening to the old tape, your inner conversation saying, well, I haven't heard from him all day, so he's probably with somebody else, because in the past that is what you had experienced. So you see how you're between two states. You're the old version of you thinking and playing out these old patterns and these old circumstances and the old belief systems that you have experienced in relationships or with this person, yet trying to manifest and do your visualizations and scripting and whatever technique. So you're living between two states, and you can't manifest from this new desired state, yet still have the old thoughts and patterns of your past previous unwanted state. So you are being double-minded. The way that we fix this, again, is going into revision. You are changing these patterns to where they never even existed. If you'd like to learn more about revision, please check out my past videos where I do a deep dive in revision and how this works, or listen to Neville Goddard's lectures of Pruning Shears of Revision. The past is not solid. It is not your truth. Your truth is whatever you decide it is. So you can go back in the past and visualize, different things happening to you to where you weren't abandoned, rejected, abused, mistreated, disrespected in your past relationships or anything in your childhood. Once you revise that, then that old story changes, right? Because if you never experienced those things, then you wouldn't have these insecurities within you thinking that, your person is going to ghost you, because you've never experienced that before, because we revised it, right? So it helps eliminate this old story and that ego stepping in, trying to protect you from, these things playing out again. And it allows you to just stay fully conformed yourself, fully conformed in this new story, to where you are now identifying and you have the thoughts, the assumptions, and the belief system that align to this new desired version of yourself, which then gets pushed out, and you can experience that with your person. So the double-mindedness is a big part of why you are getting the hot and cold behavior. Now, the next thing is doubt, and it's pretty much the same thing. It's your ego stepping in and telling you your insecurities, and you're getting triggered. So you start doubting. If one day they're not showing up the way that you want, you start doubting your power. You start questioning if this is working. You start questioning if you're insane, if you should give up, you should quit, you should manifest somebody else, if this even works. Things like that. That is doubting your power, doubting. And when you doubt something, then that means you aren't fully convicted. You aren't fully persuaded into this new version, because you're doubting if it's even working. You're doubting your power. You're doubting if it's working on them. If you're seeing movement, you're going to your 3D for evidence. And when that happens, again, that's being double-mindedness. So you see how everything just goes hand in hand. If your inner conversations and your thoughts and assumptions and belief system don't match this new story, and you aren't identified fully in this new story, then you are going to get to where they aren't fully conformed. You aren't fully conformed as the new version of you, to then manifest this new version of them. And this old story just keeps playing out in this old pattern, and you just keep going back and forth, hot and cold, hot and cold. So to break this cycle, revise it. Step number 1, revise your past, revise your childhood, revise past relationships. Work on your self-concept and your identity. What are your beliefs? What are your assumptions? What are your thoughts? And start aligning to the version of you that is in a healthy, happy relationship with this person, that is getting treated with respect, love, and that is cherished and worthy of this relationship. And we can do this, again, to align our thoughts with it, have the affirmations that are aligned to it, and persist with those affirmations. Have the inner conversations about how this person treats you, loves you, respects you, and how you treat yourself with love, respect, and you cherish yourself, and you value yourself, and you love yourself, right? Once you do these things, then you are then fully embodying this new story, and that old tape then gets replaced with this new story, this new version of you, the new version of them, in this new relationship. You can't have both. You can't have this resentment and hold on to the pain and the hurt that they have caused you in the past, or the pain and hurt from other relationships, right? That you are carrying into this relationship. You can't hold on to that and then be this whole, happy, healthy person and expect that relationship to be whole, happy, and healthy and in love with each other. So we have to fully kill off this old man, as Neville says, and fully let this old story die, in this old version of us and the old version of them, and stop focusing on any of it and just focus on what you do want. Where your inner conversations are at, and do this throughout the day. Don't just do it when you are in your visualization or scripting or whatever, do it throughout the day so then you can catch those doubts. You can catch those inner conversations that are negative and aren't in alignment to your new story. Okay? Stop being double-minded and really just invest your thoughts invest all of your internal world into this new story and reality that you want to be living, because it is already created, it is already yours, so there's nothing to doubt or worry about, okay, because you already have it. Just persuade yourself into believing that you already have it. All right, so thank you for being here. Let's listen to Neville Goddard's lecture about inner conversations and how important it is to be in alignment with this new story so then it can manifest, and no more hot and cold behavior. It's always going to be hot and heavy from here on out. All right, guys, thank you for being here.
Control your inner conversations. The whole manifested world goes to show us what use we have made of God's gift. Receiving the gift does not mean that we are going to use it wisely, but we have the gift. Everyone has the gift, and the world simply reflects the use of that gift. I know I have many times. You have gone to a party and many people you do not know. You meet them in the usual greeting. Nice to meet you. What a joy to know you. Pleased to meet you. And the usual cliches. And then you have drinks and your little hors d'oeuvres, and the party breaks up, and they all separate. And you hear someone say, "What a creep, what a bore." Yet they were so pleased to meet him. What a joy to know you. The outer words did not conform whatsoever with what they were really thinking on the inside. And God sees, not the outer man, he sees the inner man. It's the inner speech that is frozen in the world round about us. This whole vast world is but frozen inner speech. What are we saying on the inside? We may think that someone really understands us. You go along believing that you really understand you, and some simple little thing happens and you realize they never really heard you. Not for one moment had they really heard you. Some little disruption, and then the whole thing is over, and then they turn against you as though you were the devil, when they formerly thought you were one who was sent. If one could only control these inner conversations morning, noon, and night, and carry them right into the dream world, he would know what world he is creating. Stop for one moment and ask yourself, what am I thinking now? You are carrying on a little teeny inner speech at every moment of time. You may in the presence of someone that the world thinks important, but you don't, and inwardly you are saying, but only God hears it. That's what you are actually saying. Outwardly you are pleased to meet him, and you are flattered with the contact, but inwardly, what are you saying? This is what I ask everyone to observe. Observe what you are actually doing on the inside, for that is what God sees. And what you are doing on the inside, you are doing in teeny little speech movements, and they are crystallizing in the manifested world about you. And things that are seen were made out of things that were not seen. So here, out of nowhere, we create by inner speech through the use of what? Call it mind if you will. I like the word imagination. To me, it inflames me. When I imagine a state, any state, if I can only persuade myself of the reality of the state imagined, that's the important thing. So I tell you, I am telling you exactly what I know from experience, whether it be the law or the promise. But I am not telling you that everyone will apply it wisely. I am not telling you that in the end there will not be a shakedown of those who only pretend to believe it. Let me now make it quite clear. You have the gift. You can speak. Even if you are dumb, you still speak. Inwardly you speak, and you form these little speech movements within yourself. Make them conform to your wish fulfilled. Whether you be a Frenchman or American or any other nationality, you have speech and you have a mind. Instead of accepting what you already done with that gift, you simply ignore it. You brought it into being. All this is solidified speech, the whole vast manifested world, and you turn from it and then reconstruct the sentence. I've seen it time and time again. I would say to them, do you not know what you are doing to yourself? Yes, but just give me one little moment because I am so enjoying the feeling of getting even with them. You get even with no one. There is no one else in the world. As you are told, I am the Lord, and beside me there is no God. Well, what would you do now? What sentence would imply that you are now what you would like to be? You know what to do. And I say it's not knowing what to do, it is the doing of it. Someone got the most marvelous revelation. I was there the morning that it happened. Stop spending your thoughts, your time, and your money. Everything in life must be an investment. And I so loved it, I incorporated that thought into the chapter, The Coin of Heaven, in my book, Awakened Imagination. She would be the first to confess, though it came through her, and it was her revelation from God to her, shared with me, and I shared through the written form with those who read it in a book. But she is the first to confess she never applied it. There it is, but she never applied it. She was thrilled beyond measure that she was the medium through which the voice would come, and I can see her now rushing to the library and taking out the dictionary to get the true definition of the two words, spending and investing. To spend is to put out without hope of return, to waste. To invest is expecting a return on your equity. There must be a return on equity when you invest. Well, we are told, stop spending your thought, your time, and your money. Time must produce some return. It is precious. Your thought is speech. It must be actually invested, not wasted. And your money, everything must be invested and not wasted. And she's the first to confess. I knew I never really applied it. I thought, well, now it comes through, and I can go on this normal way. But it doesn't work that way. If to do were as easy as to know what we're good to do, what a marvelous sentence. You'll find it if you have the works of Shakespeare in the first act and second scene put on the lips of Portia, and how difficult for a man who teaches to follow his own instruction. And he himself confessed, I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than to be one of the 20 to follow my own teaching. So I ask you to really apply it. Don't think for 1 second that knowing what to do is going to do anything for you. It's the doing it that matters. So if every moment of time you know what to do, then do it. If you find yourself carrying on any negative conversation, break it. Even though it gives you pleasure, as it does many people, they find such fun in being critical. They think they are alone and no one sees them, so it doesn't matter. No one sees you? The only one that matters sees you every moment of time, and that's your Father. He sees into the very depth of your being, and he knows exactly what you are doing. And your world is built out of these inner conversations. So today, if you're not satisfied with the world in which you live, blame no one, but turn within to these two gifts and use them wisely. For here we are told to order our life according to conversations. Then in Ephesians we are told in its 4th chapter, put off the old nature which belongs to the former conversations, and put on the new nature. The new nature is sometimes translated, the new man, and the old nature, the old man. Well, if I equate the old nature with former conversations, I must equate the new man with new conversations. So he identifies the inner speech with man's nature. So now, what am I actually doing on the inside of myself? Am I not doing it morning, noon, and night? I can't stop it. If I stop for 1 moment, it isn't. You can't stop it. You take it into your dream and you're still talking. You are really talking at all moments of time. So what are you saying at every moment of time? Watch it. Be careful what you are saying, because your whole vast world is inner conversation pushed out. And you can change it only by changing the conversation, because the conversation is equated with your nature. So if you walk the street or you ride the bus or you sit alone, you are still talking. At every moment of time you are talking. And all you need to do to find out what you have been saying is to look at your whole world. Your world reflects this inner speech. I have seen it every moment of time. I am not going to tell you I have not faltered. I would not for 1 moment tell you that I am always in control of the inner conversation. The phone rings, this happens, and you've told them over and over, and your action may not be quite the right one, but you reacted anyway. No one heard you, but you heard it, and your Father heard it, and you are going to build your world based on exactly what you have done. So you watch it morning, noon, and night, because you're going to play this part. The end of everyone's world is Christ. Everyone is moving towards the fulfillment of being God himself, everyone. And therefore the story of Christ is told in the gospel. You are going to play it. And when he awakens within you and unfolds within you, and you are Christ, and you know where you are going to find those who will eagerly take all that you have to say